Hi, everyone. We are back to talk with our filmmakers. This is Meet the Filmmakers number 5 out of 10. I think so, because I've been counting wrong until now. I said 4 to the third and then so on, but I think we are on the 5th of the 10. And we have filmmakers today who are screening on different days. One of them is screening on opening night. The other two are screening on the preview night on March 10th. And we will talk to all of them and find out what their wonderful films are about. Let me just do a quick review of the festival. The Socially Relevant Film Festival New York is now 13 years old. We have screened about 800 films from 40 countries until now. And the characteristic of our film festival is that each and every film has to deal with one or other social issue. We talk about pressing social issues of our times and refrain from screening gratuitous violence or explosions or special effects or things that are used a lot in films nowadays that do not improve on our lives. Cinema is such a powerful medium, and at any one given moment in our lives, we are all in front of a screen, whether that screen is on our laptop, on our iPad, on our phone. We are constantly watching reels, watching films, and what better way to educate, enlighten, and shine the spotlight on human interest stories than through film. So without further ado, oh, by the way, the entire film festival information is now on our website, and here is the website, ratedSRFilms.org. You will find there all sorts of information about the films that we are screening in this year's selection and the events. We have a lot of wonderful events, networking, we have happy hours, we have Meet the Filmmakers, and also the Q&As following each and every film screening whenever the filmmaker is available. We just found out, the big news today is that one of the actors in one of the French films that we are screening, Everyone Calls Me Mike, received a César last night for a supporting role, which is in The Stranger. He is the lead character in Everyone Calls Me Mike, the French film that is in our selection. So we even have a César winner in our selection. Also have an Armenian documentary, My Armenian Phantoms, which was Armenia's official presentation to the Oscars this year. So we have a star-studded program. And maybe on this occasion, I should also mention that the opening night film, The Last Wish, has premiered at Helsinki at the Audi, and then at in Madrid at Círculo de Bellas Artes and Düsseldorf Film Festival, and humbly, I play the female lead in it. So I invite everyone to come and enjoy these wonderful films, and there are a host of others. We have a selection of 44 films this year, and you can find them all on the website, as well as finding out how to get tickets, how to come and see them, and how to meet the filmmakers. But before I go any further, let me bring the filmmakers on, and they can tell us more about their films. We have today Michael, Elsa, and Rob, and they will all briefly introduce themselves, tell us about their film, what it is about, and then we will go more in depth and discuss each film. So maybe we'll go with Michael, because on my screen, he's next to me. Okay, Michael, why don't you jump in?
Sure. Michael Injeian. I'm the director, writer, producer, and editor of Edge of the Cliff. It's a film that I co-wrote with Yesenia Claros based on her short story, Edge of the Cliff. And we brought this film to life. The film is about, the primary message of the film is about hope. It really examines a relationship between a husband and wife, Suzanne and Simon. Suzanne is of a Latina background, and Simon is a Muslim, and they both go through a great deal of mental health issues, and we examine how they interact with the direction they're both heading. But primarily, the film is about hope.
Great. Elsa, what is your film about?
Hello. Yes, so my name is Elsa, and I make a film. His name is Mac and Cheese, and it's about it's a psychologically like a thriller about like a young woman who is pregnant, and she just let a neighbor into her home, and yeah, it's about like fear and the fear to be pregnant and to be like a woman, it's about this.
Yeah. Michael and Elsa's film are screening on March 10 at MRHS, which is one of our partners. And it is with the short films, we always like to group them under thematic titles, and their films fit into the mental health category. The mental health category has a couple more films, but the filmmakers were not available, or actually either that or we already spoke with them because we've been doing these Meet the Filmmakers for a while now. This is the 5th. And Rob's film, Black Black, is on the opening night, which is on the 11th. This is kind of like a confusing maybe, but the preview of the shorts is on March 10, but the opening is on March 11. We would have liked it to be the opposite, but the auditorium of the Lenfest Center was not available on the 10th, and the RHS was not available on the 11th. So we figured that's fine, we can do the preview and then the opening. So Rob's film is interesting. He will tell you more about it. And it's one of the 3 we have selected to screen on opening night, because opening night is also an evening we are doing at Lenfest Center for the Arts, which is Native American land, and we will recognize that. And we have 3 films, one about the Black experience, one about Mexican immigrants, and the third one about Native American experience. So it's kind of the BIPOC selection. And that evening is also sponsored by West Harlem Development, by the West Harlem Development Corporation, which is one of our sponsors. So Rob, take it away.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I love hearing about these other films and excited to be a part of this festival. So Black Black is a film. It's about an interracial family who is hosting for July 4th, and the celebration implodes when a private group chat is accidentally screened on a TV. And some comments are made about this couple's biracial daughter's hair that forces a Black father who did not believe the racism was real to confront the realities of racism at home and in the world. And so it really is it's a film about um, it explores what it takes for people to be able to see past their blind spots. That I think that we all navigate the world, and there are things that we're aware of and things that are invisible to us, things that are implicit. And this is a film about what does it take to make the implicit explicit, and to get people to have a deeper understanding of things that are going on around them.
Very interesting. We love these films, and I'm not just talking about the films we are talking about now, like all of them. And sometimes somebody asks me, which one is your favorite? Which film do you want to win? And I'm like in a Sophie's Choice situation. I love all these films, and the reason why I love them, I mean, the proof is that they are part of the program. And it doesn't mean that all the films that we didn't succeed to get into the program are films that I hate or films that I don't want to see. Because what happens is that a lot of times we need to draw the line. We need to come with an editorial lines, because I like the program of any given year to tie in together, to look like an entity instead of looking like a bazaar with any mismatched things, you know, just throw in this and throw in that. And especially with the short films, I always like them to be grouped in a category, in a thematic group. And that's not to say like there's more of the same and more of the same. On the contrary, the short films that we put together under titles like we have this year, the BIPOC films, we have health. Actually, we already have tonight Black History Month, which was supposed to be on Monday, and because of the snowstorm was canceled. Now it is rescheduled for tonight, which is February 27th. So that is about the Black History Month experience. And all the 4 films we are screening, one way or another, complement each other about giving you a complete, not complete in 4 films, but almost cover the Black experience. Then the mental health ones that Michael and Elsa are part of, also the different films talk about different aspects of mental health. By the way, there is one film in that selection which is about ICE, and I think that is also a mental case. Therefore, we put it in that selection. And then we have disability, which comes on Friday. We have family and home. We have race, religion, and exile. So all the films that are in any given category all talk about more or less the same theme from different angles and become kind of complementary. So we have one more person who said they were busy with a shoot. So Trina is here, and I'm going to let her in on our chat. And hi, Trina. It's nice to come in. Trina's film is about Mexican immigrants, and it's also on opening night together with Rob's film. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about it. Now I'm going to ask the next question, which is, how did this film idea come to you, and why did you feel this story needed to be told? So in case of Trina, you can ask both questions at the same time. Introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about the film, and also tell us why you thought this was important to make.
Okay, thank you so much, and I apologize for the delay.
No problem.
My film is called A Way to Be Together. 5 years ago, I moved to a small town in Lambertville, in New Jersey, called Lambertville. And I was a New Yorker for about 25 years. I'm from Caracas, Venezuela, originally, but my mom's American, so I'm already kind of this mix. And I moved to this small town, kind of trying to copy paste my life from New York. I had a little office, and Hurricane Ida came and basically knocked out all my things, all my drives, everything. And there was nothing left to do other than to help at the FEMA tent, help the, I speak perfect Spanish. So I went and started working there and learned firsthand from the community that lives there what their challenges were in losing their homes, because unfortunately they were in a flooded area, a flooding prone area, and which is what they call environmental justice. So set up at the library. The FEMA were there for 2 months, but it was very difficult to navigate. So we set up at the local library, and I started helping out and really sitting next to them and learning about them, learning what their challenges were at every level: literacy, banking, social security, documentation, their kids, everything. And I got really close to them because we worked for 2 months trying to find the money, and some dropped out, others didn't. But in that time, I was able to work with the library. We got a grant, created a program called Latinas in Lambertville. And from there, I addressed a lot of these issues. I taught, and then we created a festival called the Oaxaca Festival. So bear in mind, these people, they had spent, some of them over 20 years living in this town, and yet I would ask, town of 4,200 people, by the way, and I would ask, for lack of a better word, the white people, well, do you know about this community? Do you know they're from Oaxaca? Oh no, I didn't know they were from Oaxaca. So I found it mind blowing that people could live next to each other for so long and they didn't know absolutely anything about their origins, their stories. So this festival really brought everybody together for the first time in a way that was organic, non-transactional. And I don't think that the white people in town were intentionally leaving them out. I mean, it's a very liberal town. It's just there hadn't been the opportunity.
Mm.
And unfortunately, I think sometimes we're in this country, we're used to just looking at ourselves. Like we take it for granted, right? That these people are
Yeah.
here doing the work. And it's like, well, I don't know. They're just, I mean, they're kind of expecting people to appear to them in a way that they know. So I always say, well, we have to reach out to them and meet them where they are, right? That was my
Yeah, and
mantra
it's
with
a
doing this whole
beautiful
time. Yeah.
way in which your film shows that how they created this festival and how they introduced their art and culture to the locals. And there was a beautiful synergy between the local population and them and how they integrated with each other. But we'll come back to you
That's
when
the
we
story. Yeah.
hear everybody else.
Okay.
So
Sure.
let's go now, jump in. I'm not going to go in an orderly fashion here. So whoever wants to jump in can to tell us about why they thought their film needed to be told. Why was this story important? And tell us a little bit more about the film on that occasion. Who is the one who wants to do that?
I'm happy to jump in just to kick it off, just to follow Trina. Edge of the Cliff was a film that I was unsure that I wanted to make. I was really moved by the short story that Yesenia wrote. She is my producing partner. She's executive produced the film and also co-wrote. She and I co-wrote Edge of the Cliff, but it's based on her short story. It dives into mental health and the darkness that surrounds that, and also finding that light in the darkness. And I was unsure that I wanted to do the film, but I decided that it was a film that needed to be made and a story that needed to be told. And part of the challenge of making that film was diving into those deep emotions of darkness and depression, and also all sorts of other social issues such as alcoholism and immigration and all these little microaggressions that go on in life. And all of this was integrated into our script, and just sort of immersing yourself into the screenwriting process and also the directing process, bringing it to life. And also serving as the editor, I had to re-immerse myself into this story, but always keeping focused on that there is light. You know, they always say, see something, say something. And it's important because we are all silently fighting battles, right? That we don't want to voice. And I thought it was very important to dive into this subject matter and bring it to light, to let people know, I hear you, I see you, I feel you, and there is light, no matter what the situation is. And I thought that was the important part of bringing Edge of the Cliff to life.
That's an interesting point that you're making there, because that's also what the festival, the Socially Relevant Film Festival, does, because we deal with social issues. All the films we present are one way or another about one or other social issue. And sometimes people say, oh my God, you're talking about all these depressing issues, mental health, age, I don't know, disability. But let me tell you something. We've had humor in films that dealt with disability. It doesn't necessarily have to be that it's deep and it's depressing and it's horrible. And we have always made sure that even though we're talking about the most pressing and most kind of important social issues and problems, that always there is a sliver of light, there is a hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel. We're not here to offer solutions to anything, but to shine the spotlight and tell these human interest stories. And we like it when there is an uplifting element, even in the darkest of stories. So your film has already told us that, and it's very important because mental health is very important to talk about. A lot of times mental health goes completely undiagnosed, and that's the worst part of mental health. We always feel like, oh, he's like that or she's like that, but there are solutions. It's like when we get sick, we go to the doctor, but people don't necessarily go and consult psychiatrists or go and get mental health issues, help for mental health issues. And it's important to show that it's possible to treat those.
Yeah, I agree. I think that people sometimes just need to say, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I need help. And because our world grinds on us to, immigration, we're seeing all this stuff with ICE, racism, alcoholism. I mean, all of these things start building on you to the point of a breaking point.
Yes,
it's absolutely. Not one thing. So I think that it's okay to say, I need help. I'm not good.
Yeah, totally. And it has to be not such a taboo. So we have to be able to talk about it. Yes. Who else? Elsa, maybe?
Yes. Sorry, my English is not very well, but I try to.
Tu peux dire en français, je traduirai.
Okay. So I would like to make this movie because I live some things with my sister, my young sister, with like a guy who tried to came in our house when we were very young. And so after this, my sister left the house because she was so scared to just be inside, like alone. And after this, I just have the impression, like, for example, in Paris, in my city, that everyone have like a house, an apartment, but when you are like a woman, I am very scared to just comment tu dis, faire rentrer, to just
accept.
Yeah, welcome someone in our house.
Yeah. Accueillir quelqu'un.
Yeah, and I am very scared if someone like even just for like a pack or something just come in my house. So I think about it, and after I have this idea to try to make like a film who at the beginning it's like happy, it's just a woman pregnant, and it's like not a comedy, but it's not like scaring, and you and la prise de pouvoir, the power, the switch is very like very slowly, sorry, like very insidious, and it's about the fact to don't because I don't be succeed to say no to someone much early.
Yeah, it's interesting because it starts very unsuspecting and nice neighborly relations. She lets somebody in. We're not going to tell the film because you have to go see it. This pregnant woman is about to leave, and then the next door neighbor comes and says, can I use your microwave for a second? And then, yeah, of course, yeah, but for a second. And then kind of deteriorates from there. And that's what the film is about. And sometimes the most unsuspecting situation can get out of hand because of some mental issues again. So it's very, very interesting. Okay, so we have Rob and Trina. Rob, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So first, I guess my interest in making this film, it comes out of my research. So my day job, I'm a professor. I do research around racism and technology. So I study the way that tech and social media changes how people experience, understand, and respond to racism. And so the idea for the film for me came from trying to visualize some of the processes that happen when people are exposed to racism. And so one of the ideas that is, that is behind this film is the Du Bois's, who's a social theorist, talks about double consciousness and what it means for people of color to have a self concept, what they think about themselves, but it conflicts with how they know that other people think about them. And so I wanted to visualize the emergence of double consciousness in people, and what does it look like? What happens to in that process? And for me, the reason why this film is necessary or is important now is I think when we look at it, right, in the USA, in the US context, the political divisions right now, right, where it was made illegal to talk about racism, and you have misinformation being weaponized so that people are talking past one another. It's hard to have dialogue. And that we see that when people are misinformed or when people have blind spots, it causes social relations, political relations to deteriorate. And it makes it easier for folks in power to continue oppression and to have, people support oppressive and discriminatory policies. And so I think that this film is important because it is exploring what it takes for people to see beyond their blind spots, and that is something that I think would could have a big impact in raising political and racial awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. It has become a time when it's like dangerous to voice an opinion about anything. And then labels are very, very easy to stick to people. Oh, you said that? Oh my God, you're a racist. Oh, you said that? You're anti Semite. You said that, or you're this, you're that. And its labels are a dime a dozen, and people are not hesitating to stick them left, right, and center just because you voiced an opinion about something. So you can't even have a decent discussion about anything. And that's part of the reason why we like to show these films, because these films really enlighten, open up the venues for discussion, and show a different aspect of everything, the other side of the coin. And we need to hear that and see that. So, Trina,
Yes.
you want to continue what you were already saying? Why?
Yes.
Yes, you said already why and how you came into this situation. And it's important to mention here that this is a beautiful film with many colors and Oaxaca people dancing and living their culture and so on. And unfortunately, we're going to do here a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler of the film, a spoiler of the effect of the film, that since ICE has been cracking down, the festival has stopped. So
Yes.
that is something very, very important to talk about. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So I went from what was a joyous community portrait of coming out to the town as this is who we are and this is our beautiful culture. And we had 100 volunteers from the town, mostly white people, helping them. And they were the spotlight. They were the spotlight, and they were able to do their pageantry and their performances and their music. And Oaxaca, Mexico is just the birthplace of Mesoamerica. They speak in the town, they speak different languages from Mixtec. And so it was this beautiful thing. And then we couldn't do it again. But by the time I was making the film, that's what happened. And I just didn't know, I couldn't ignore the elephant in the room, which was that the library director called me and said, Trina, we can't do this again. I mean, we can't expose folks. And even the library itself, which is a whole nother added layer to this that I would have loved to explore more, but I did this independently, so we do have our limits. But was feeling like they, the pressure of putting something on like this. So it's a wave throughout the country that this is just, people have had to step back for safety issues, really. So
Yeah.
the town is idyllic. It's probably I share this film around the world and people are just like, what is this place, Lambertville? I mean, it's beautiful. It's Main Street, USA. It's just an adorable town, right? And so I made it very colorful. It already is very colorful, but I did work with a color grader, and it's not because it needed a lot of correction, frankly, but what would this world look like, right? It was very kind of a little bit, I say it's the perfect Hollywood set for a story like this. So it's a little bit the colors and what things could be like if we were to really come together. And I
Yeah.
think in my own experience, since I look the way I look, but I'm Latina, but I can speak English, but I can turn around. And so for me, that's been the story of my life. So I felt very comfortable myself as a filmmaker taking this on to bring people together somehow. And it was very exciting to do it without shooting. But then I was like, okay, well, we have to do this.
You have to
So
document.
yeah, we have to do this. And I wish that I'd gotten so much more, but I do have a short and I think people get the idea. But so then kind of like the lights, the plug gets pulled out, the rug gets pulled out from underneath it. It goes dark.
But it's
It goes
dark
dark.
times are not forever. After the dark, the sun shines. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Yeah. And I
all
think but it is a little shocking for folks seeing this. And then all of a sudden I found a way to do it too in the film. I hope that, but yes, and there's something about black when you go dark, there's a seed. There's still always a seed. So that's my hope. And
Are they
I
coming?
see.
You said to
There's
the
some of them that are coming. Yes, some of them are coming and we're giving them rides. A lot of folks don't have cars in this
yeah,
town. That's why they're there. It's a walking town. It's a river town. It's been very welcoming. And frankly, I don't know what we would do without them because it's a touristy little town. They work in the restaurants. They take care of all the landscaping, the painting, and it's a real thing. And I think people really appreciate them in the town. But again, and I think I can piggyback on what Rob said. It's just we have these blind spots
mm,
and they can be really harmful and they can be really cruel. Like I didn't understand as more of an international person. Like how come you don't know anything about your neighbor? They're amazing, right? Well, I had only high school Spanish. I'm like,
yeah, but-
okay, but what? There's Google Translate. There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't. And there's such nice people, and they
yeah,
actually match with the energy of the people in Lambertville in a way, and they come from Rivertown, so it's very interesting. But I hope that this would open hearts and minds to
yeah.
people. Just
And
make
that's
the effort.
yeah, and
Just say hi. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
and the festival's spirit is also not only for the shining the spotlight on human interest stories and showing how different people live and where they are and what their story is, not only individual people. I try to stay away from individual stories, a story about one person's thing, because yes,
Mm.
that one person is also important, but the impact of social groups and social
Mm.
issues is very, very important for me. Mainly, maybe because I have had two careers. I'm a sociologist as well by training. My first master's degree is in sociology. I always was acting since I was 15 years old, but went ahead and did a master's degree in sociology and then a master's degree in theater and film. So it's always the two, one and the other. And the festival brings these two loves and two trainings completely together because of the medium that I'm dealing with and because of the subject matter that I'm dealing with. And it has been an enormous learning experience for me and for all of us, all the team that has been watching and selecting these films, because there are amazing stories out there. And I don't understand how Hollywood can spend millions and millions of dollars on mindless movies when there are so many human interest stories that are clamoring to be told. But that's another topic. All right. The next question is about.
Thank you, Nora, for what you do. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Without the films, there is no festival. So I don't know who's thanking who. So how did you come to the festival? Did everybody answer the first question? I guess we did, right? I'm not leaving anybody out. How did you find out about the Socially Relevant Film Festival, and why did you decide to come with us? I keep mentioning it, and if there are filmmakers out there who are watching, not anymore today, but later on, our program is always on YouTube, and people watch and comment on it. And I always say this to filmmakers out there: when you're submitting to a film festival, find out about what this festival does and what kind of films they like to show, instead of blindly just submitting, because there is a match for every film. But if your film doesn't match our guidelines, our what we stand for and what we want to screen, then it might be the best Oscar-winning material. It's not going to be in the selection. Otherwise, it's a waste of time and money. So there you go. How did you find out, each one? Who can start?
Well, I went to Film Freeway and I was really excited to find this festival because I feel a little lonely in this space. It doesn't quite fit into, like you said, a lot of films are driven by personal stories, and a lot of people told me, oh, your story, you're amazing, you're this, you're that, you're a mix. It's like, yeah, but this is not what I wanted, for example, right? So a lot of them, they want a certain kind of drama, or in ways that I wasn't willing to push that.
But also, being a mixed person is your ideally situated to be the bridge.
To be the bridge, exactly.
You have done,
yeah,
so beautifully. Yeah. And I urge every filmmaker to go and see the other filmmakers' films.
Yeah.
Because besides the fact that whoever is going to be present at the festival, there are going to be opportunities to do happy hours and networking, and we'll get to know each other in person. But besides that, you'll also be able to see each other's work and establish collaborations, cooperation, and that's the whole spirit. I am the living example of that, because the opening night film, Rax Rinikangas, the Finnish filmmaker, was one of our filmmakers in the 2022 selection. And that's how we got to know each other, and that's when he proposed that I play the lead in this film. And we did another film later on called The Jukebox, and that is in distribution right now. And so maybe we'll show that next year. So it's important to have these conversations. So who wants to tell us how they came to the festival?
For me, I was doing a great deal of research to match the theme of our film. We know about the festivals that are very popular, or we just know the names that we know, but I really did an in-depth dive into global film festivals that focused on socially relevant issues, mental health, all of the issues that we talked about, racism, immigration, alcoholism, all of those things. And I came to find Socially Relevant Film Festival and did a deeper dive into it and said, oh, well, that's very interesting. I'm a New Jersey filmmaker right outside of New York City, and I'm very tapped into New York City, and the fact that it was in New York City, being so, close proximity and always wanting to discuss the hard topics. And that's where it was as simple as that, just doing a really deep dive into research into what film festivals, also through Film Freeway. But when it came, when your film festival came across my desk, so to speak, I immediately said, hold on, let's pause, let's just dive into this. And I was pleasantly surprised about the subject matter and the hard issue. Finding a home for our festival was very important for us as filmmakers. So we're very happy to be selected.
Yeah, it's important. It's very, very important. Sometimes we get films that are so completely not our cup of tea, and I feel like sorry for the filmmaker that, didn't do their research, because every film has its home. So, anybody else on this question?
Yeah, I think I did a search on Film Freeway for social justice oriented festivals. I love the idea of using storytelling as a means of getting people to think, about serious real world issues. And so I'm very happy to be, a part of this community, and can't wait to see, what everyone has made, and excited to share Black in a context where people are looking for art to do, to be entertaining, but then also to have something to say.
Yeah, that is so true. It has to have something to say. I mean, not necessarily preach. That's another thing. Preaching and something to say are two different things. That's why I didn't want to call our festival the Social Justice Film Festival or the Human Rights Film Festival. Like, these are much bigger names. Because you have to be very militant, you have to be very political when you put titles like that. But socially relevant is a little more user friendly, I think. And it has the social aspect and the relevance without necessarily being so hardcore, so to speak, because we try to stay away from that and focus on the human and focus on the filmmakers. We love filmmakers. I really do. I feel like, oh my God, why am I doing this? I wait, staying up until 3 a.m. and waking up at 8 a.m. in front of my computer again and writing all these lengthy emails to the filmmakers so that we have a great experience. I mean, there are some film festivals out there who don't even screen the films, let alone kill themselves until they create a hybrid experience with networking involved and so on and so forth. But I really like this experience to be an opportunity for people to meet each other and find out about each other's work.
And if I can just say something about that, I'm very excited to meet all of you and go to all these films, because it is a lonely process to be a filmmaker at times. And it's great to share. Not only, a lot of times it seems to be a lot of technical talk or shop or styles, but just from the heart, and understand why, like you said, why like you put yourself through this process, like why we go years, great fundraising, or not even, or staying up just to, because we're just, I couldn't see myself going back, only forward. And I like to learn about others people's, the energy and the passion behind what they're doing, the stories behind the stories. It's very important to me. So I'm very excited to meet all of you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very interesting, the stories behind the stories. So, who else? Elsa, do you want to share how you came to the festival?
I speak with Nora because she saw my film, and it's true that when I talk with her, I was like, wow, okay, my film is like perfect for like this mental health festival. And after I just sent my film with my producer, and it's true that for me, like, cinema, it's like very, very good for mental health. And I think that we have I take a lot of time and I care about my mental health. So I'm very happy to be in this festival, because it's true that it's difficult to show the film because it's like a very minority, I think, how you say, ça parle de minorité, like it's it talk about like minority. So
Yeah, a
yeah.
minority of a group of people.
Yeah, so I think if I understand like all the films that are like in this festival.
Yes, absolutely. They're not the films that you would see on big blockbusters. And
Yeah,
another thing is that uh, we don't go around the big film festivals and invite the films that are already getting all the spotlight, that are already winning the awards, but we go for films that otherwise may completely not be seen. And we pride ourselves to being that platform that offers the opportunity to meet an audience, because every film has to have the chance to meet with its audience.
yeah. So it's nice because I don't know if it's like the same in America, but in France, in like the festival, short festival, we have like a lot of film who are like in the same mood, and it's not very open to all the genre or
Hmm.
kind of film, and yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah. And it's true. It's more or less the same thing on international, the big festival circuits. You see more of the same with the same people and so on and so forth. And it's like, hey, hello, there is a group of people here that might be of interest. And since we're talking about France and not France and other parts of the world, let me say that we have a standing partnership with a organization called Open World in Paris, and we will be screening two of the winning feature films on April 27 in Paris as part of their monthly screenings as a beginning of a collaboration. So, actually 2 years ago, they screened one of our films, which was the winning documentary film. It was about disability. They were three surfers, each one missing an arm, the other missing a leg, and the third one deaf, called Ora. And they were champion
Oh,
surfers. And the organization screened this film as part of the Paralympics in 2024. So it was quite an interesting collaboration, and we decided to continue it. And this year, we're taking a couple of the winning films to be screened in Paris. So there we go. Let me quickly ask each one of you where you are talking from. Michael, where are you right now?
I'm in Cliffside Park, New Jersey, right outside New York City.
Okay, and Elsa, you're in Paris.
yeah.
And Rob,
I'm in Chicago.
okay, and Trina.
Oh, Miami Beach, Florida. Ah, sorry,
Okay,
guys.
how cool is that? And
Yeah.
I'm in New York, New York, in Harlem, where we
Uh-huh.
a few blocks from the Lenfest Center, where we are having our opening, and a block from the MRHS where we are having the mental health films on March 10. So, just a quick way, I will pass the banner to our listeners and show them where they can find the information about these films, the tickets and venues, and everything is on the website. When you go to the website, there is the drop down menu, SRFF 2026. You click on it, a whole drop down menu opens with everything that you are looking for, including the films, the trailers, the different events. And next to it, there is also the box office and the venues. So anything you need is on the website. The tickets are $15 if you purchase them ahead of time, and they are $20 at the door. So make sure you purchase them ahead of time. On opening night, the short films can be seen on their own by purchasing a separate ticket, or you can purchase a ticket that includes the entire program. Shorts the red carpets, and the feature film. So one last tour. Let me see. We have 10 more minutes left, but anybody can jump in. If you want to talk to us about your next project, what's next for you on the plate?
Mm.
If you don't want to share it, that's fine. You can tell us your shoe size or something instead.
Yeah. It's difficult after going through this whole process and kind of letting it breathe and going through it. I know this question is coming, but in my case, it could be about more organizing or teaching or more than filmmaking. But I will say this, I feel like there can be a sequel to this, or it could be expanded. And I know that people say for short films, but I really do believe that I could make it a longer piece if I could shoot a little bit more of what's going on. Because right now what we're doing is we're organizing ways to deal with ICE if they show up to the town. We're doing more ideas of what some of the things that they did in Minnesota, delivering food, doing laundry at other people. Like, basically, it feels like something going underground in a way, and how to organize things in case.
I think it does need a lot of organization, because like what happened recently in Columbia University right next door, they showed up as policemen and investigating for a missing child and arrested this woman. And I was talking to my husband, and he said, well, next we know they can show up, because that's banned now. As a policeman, you have to show a warrant. You cannot just walk in like that. In fact, the guards had to ask for that in the first place. And he said, what if they show up as postmen?
Well, the big question too is, are we really together?
People, what if they show up in Oaxaca?
Yeah. And also, how together is this town? It's very nice when you go to a festival and you're eating delicious tamales and you're hanging out, but what happens when things get real? Are we really together? Are you really going to help? Some people are, or what is the system? And it's just, doing this is fascinating. In a small town, you have access. But as a filmmaker, I'm debating, I did my film with a director of photography. I respect art a lot. And it was a very visual film. I wanted it to be beautiful because I wanted the beauty of these people to really shine. Okay. But now it's like, do I pull out my phone? Will they give me permission? Do I follow a certain, so it's expanding. And I figure I'm figuring out how to do part 2, because I am involved in it, because I'm also the liaison with the Hispanic community. So I'm kind of catching a breath with everything that's happening and trying not to freak out about everything that's happening, because I adore these people. They're my neighbors. And just, I meet with them and they're horrified and in tears, and we're really worried about their safety. So that's where I'm at. And if I could document it, it would be great, but I have to figure out how.
Yeah, I think it's our duty to speak out. And who else wants to talk about their next project?
Sure, I'll jump in. It's funny. Edge of the Cliff is a narrative short, but we treated it like a feature. We did not cut any corners. We wanted it to feel like a feature, like in terms of quality, and not that shorts are. We just wanted to give it the full attention, from score to color to sound design, everything. But diving into the mental health aspect and everything, from that, once we completed post and everything and we got across the finish line, I shifted gears and I dove into an action comedy script. You know what I mean? Just completely opposite. I said, it's time to do something completely opposite. So for me, I've just completed an action comedy script that I've been developing for almost 15 years. And I just took the energy and the momentum of Edge of the Cliff into that. I'm also working with I'm a part of a producing team that is putting together a non-scripted TV series, as well as that I can't talk too much about. And I'm also working with, again, our writer Yesenia Claros on an animated short. So
That's
it's
cool.
just a
I
little
love
bit different.
comedies. We love comedies. As an actor, I'm always much more prone to doing dramatic roles. As you will see on opening night, it's a super dramatic role. But recently, in August, I filmed a feature film in which I play a lead, which is over the top comedy. It's like something in the line of My Big Fat Greek Wedding
Mhm.
type of, but Egyptian version. And I'm like, I love it. I love it. And I'm like, it's so liberating to do comedy and get out of and through comedy, you can still be very socially relevant. You can say what you
Mhm.
have to say and make comments, and people sort of swallow the pill much easily, much more easily. So, and Rob and Elsa, what about your next projects?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple scripts. One is a coming of age story, one is a horror. So similar to Michael, I'm going back and forth between different genres, and I think yeah, yeah. So I'm enjoying the process. I was on sabbatical this past year and had a lot of time to let creative be my what I'm doing with most of my time, which has not been a luxury that that I've had. And I know a lot of people, folks in independent film are the same way. So yeah,
Yeah. Where are you located? You said you're in Chicago now, but will you be in New York during the
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'll be in New York. I'll be in New York. I split time between Chicago and New York.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll be there for the
And
festival.
Trina, you're coming for the opening. Michael
Yes,
is
ma'am.
going to be there.
Mhm.
And Elsa?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm writing a lot of different things with different production, but the one that I am more in now, it's like a story. It's like I think a little bit the story with my mom, but yeah, like when a mom love you too much. And, yeah,
Wow, that's interesting too. Yes, the
yeah.
mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah, it's about mental health too.
Yeah.
I think that I love mental health films, so like
Mm,
psychologically film. So yeah, it's
yeah.
about this, but more personal, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the personal aspect is so important. I've been noticing more and more with all the filmmakers that I speak with that the trigger of wanting to tell a certain story, 99.9% of the time, comes from an experienced moment or a story that they lived and so on, and they want to share with everybody else. So that's a great starting point. And it's not easy because if you're not passionate about what you want to say or do, filmmaking is so, like Trina was saying, so lonely. You have
Mm,
to find the money, you have to do everything at the beginning. You don't have the luxury of having somebody else do the production part and you just be creative and so on. You might at some point if you get lucky, but at the beginning you're doing everything, and at that everything process it's gets very, very lonely, very lonely. And eventually that's part of the reason why it's good to have filmmaker friends and share all these stories together. Okay, everyone, we're almost at the end. We have 1 minute left, and I'll just throw a big question at everyone, whoever wants to jump in. If you have one last minute thing you want to share or say, or an anecdote or whatever, jump in. And if not, that's fine too.
I think it's just important for the audience out there to go see these films. Not everyone gets a platform. Certain films are being made commercially, but I think it's important to go to these festivals and meet filmmakers and talk to them. And for us filmmakers, it's great to bond with each other because we speak our own language, so to speak.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if you're a costume designer, an actor, a director, an editor, or whoever. It's great to bond with each other because, as you said, the filmmaking process can be
mm,
isolating. However, it also teaches you how to be relentless to get across the finish line
yeah,
because it's once you decide this is what I'm going to do and commit to, that's sort of the easiest part. The hardest part is crossing the finish line, whether it's writing a script, producing it, editing it, whatever aspect of filmmaking. I think it's important for, especially for young filmmakers out there, to come meet different filmmakers, because it's a learning process that you'll learn throughout your entire career. And I think it's really important to connect with everyone here, people like us who are doing it, and will
Yeah.
continue to do it.
I would like to add that in my experience too, I am bringing people from a small town who don't have access to transportation, might not speak indigenous languages. It's a big deal. When I told one of them that he was going to come to New York to a festival, he was in tears. It's like, we're going to go to New York to see. So keep in mind that this also has a bigger effect. The fact that there's a red carpet, the fact that they're going to be seen and they're going to be there. And so I think also living a moment with a community that is the power of being recognized. I think that's also a beautiful thing in a festival that I bring. Hopefully they'll all come, but I already have a few, and that you could see that how powerful it is.
Yeah,
what we do.
For me,
You know?
it's the most gratifying moment, and I go, why am I doing this? Can't I do something easier? And then I come with the festival period and I'm like, no, this needs to be done.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Nora. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you.
Talking to you. And I can't wait till I meet each and everyone in person. So just quickly, we pass the banner again one last time in case somebody didn't catch it. ratedsrfilms.org, our film festival. I forgot to mention that after the 16th, starting the 16th of March, the films go online. So whoever hasn't been able to come to New York and catch them in person has a chance internationally to see the films online for a brief period of time. They're not going to be there forever. So
this recording, we can share this recording right now?
Oh, yeah, this recording is going to be on our YouTube channel as soon as we hang up. It might take time to process it, but as soon as we hang up, and it's being simultaneously broadcast on our Facebook page.
Yes.
Yeah. So there we go. I'm ending the stream.